Good morning, everyone. My name is Karanveer Kamra, and today we will study about the introduction of the Indian Contract Act 1872. So let us start with our video. So as you can see on the screen, it is written that contract legally binds two parties to an agreement, right? So if I ask you, what is a contract? So contract is a legal agreement. Contract is a legal agreement which binds two parties into an agreement. Contract is a legal agreement which binds two parties into an agreement. So now my next question is, where is this term contract given? So contract is governed by the Indian Contract Act 1872. That means contract is defined under section 2 clause H in the Indian Contract Act 1872. Contract is defined under section 2 clause H in the Indian Contract Act 1872. We can also say that Indian Contract Act 1872 Indian Contract Act 1872 regulates the business transactions in India. Right. We can also say the Indian Contract Act 1872 defines the rights, duties, and obligations of the parties in India. Right. So now we have studied the term Indian Contract Act. So my next question to you is, what do you mean by an act? So let us see what is an act. An act is a law which is passed by the parliament. An act is a law which is passed by the parliament. So now parliament consists of two houses. First is the Rajya Sabha, that is the upper house, and second is the Lok Sabha, that is the lower house. When the bill is introduced in the parliament, it is passed in the Lok Sabha and subsequently in the Rajya Sabha. And finally, it goes to the president for his signatures. And when the president gives his signatures, that is his assent on the bill, that bill becomes an act. And that is the law made by the parliament. So now let us study important dates for the Indian Contract Act 1872. So remember, Indian Contract Act 1872 was enacted on 25th April 1872. That means the law, the Indian Contract Act, was passed on 25th April 1872 and it came into force in India on 1st September 1872. So now my question is to you that I have previously discussed that Indian Contract Act regulates the business in India, right? So as we see this date, the year 1872, we are seeing that Indian Contract Act became applicable in India for regulating the business in the year 1872. So my question to you is कि क्या businesses इंडिया में 1872 से पहले हुआ करते थे या नहीं हुआ करते थे? अगर हुआ करते थे, तो then which laws were applicable then? Because Indian Contract Act ICA came into force only in the year 1872. So, before the commencement of the Indian Contract Act, personal laws were applicable on the different sections of the society like Hindus and Muslims. So their personal laws were applicable on them. But after the commencement of the Indian Contract Act in India, uniform law, that is the Indian Contract Act, became applicable on whole in India. Right. So now let us see the formation of a contract. We have studied what is a contract. A contract is a legal legal agreement binding two parties into an agreement. So now we have to understand how the formation of a contract takes place. What is the chain of the formation of this contract? So the first step in the formation of the contract is the offer. For example, I, being a teacher, I'm making an offer to you. I, being a teacher, make an offer to you that you are my student if you score the highest marks in my class. I will give you a gift. I will give you a prize. Right? So that is my offer. And you being the student, accept my offer. Fine, sir. I accept your offer. I will get the highest marks in the class, and you will give me the prize for that. Right? So we both have entered into a contract that I am offering to you, you get the highest marks, and I will give you something in return, that is the price, and you are accepting my offer. So we both have come into an agreement, and if the agreement between us is legally enforceable in the court of law, that agreement would be a contract. So also we have studied that the Indian Contract Act defines the rights and duties of the parties. So let us take an example. There are two people, A and B. A is the student, that is the you, and B is the teacher, that is me. So there is a contract between A and B for the law classes. So you, being A, being a student, you have the right to study law. You have the right to study law, and I have the right to take the fees for teaching to you. Similarly, you being the student, you have the duty in this contractual obligation to study the law, and I have the duty to teach you the law, right? So Indian Contract Act tells about the rights and duties of the parties. So this was an introduction to the Indian Contract Act. So till now, we have studied that Indian Contract Act actually came into force on 1st September 1872. Contract is a legal agreement between two parties, right? And Indian Contract Act also defines the rights and duties of the parties. So thank you for today, and we will continue with our videos in our next session. Thank you.